Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk about DURIANRIDER protocols. I've been testing them out a little bit, varying them a little bit the last 2 weeks here. I wanted to talk about that. Hello, my name is Ryan. This is High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. This is unfortunately number 2 of this. I forgot to turn the gain down on the microphone. It was blowing everything out. So, but I wanted to talk about this. Actually, on Friday, I did a live video on Friday. And I was going to talk about what I'm going to be talking about right now on Friday, but so many people were asking questions, which was awesome. I'm going to definitely do lives at least once a week, maybe more. I don't know. You know, the only thing I don't want it to turn into is people asking the same questions over and over again. Then it kind of gets boring for everybody. And I'd like to get a different message out there. So I might, I'll have to see how that goes. But what I wanted to talk about is over the last 2 weeks, I've been doing kind of a combination of DURIANRIDER. Well, all right, so let me back up. 2011, I started raw. 2016, I kind of combined them. Now we're here in between 2016 and probably 18. I kind of hit a brick wall. I lost a ton of weight going into moving back to Cleveland. And once I was here, I discovered that there is a lot of vegan restaurants that don't serve very high carb, low fat. It's a lot of fat. And there's a lot of good stuff at Trader Joe's. There's like 3 Trader Joe's within a couple miles of here. There's, 4. And then there's 3 Whole Foods within a couple miles of here. And then a couple other grocery stores that I go to. So it has made it a challenge. Oh, and Costco. It has made it challenging to, it had made it challenging to be high carb, low fat. And I wanted to analyze this, why I gained weight, why I've lost weight in the past, and the DURIANRIDER protocol. So that is what I'm going to be talking about 2 minutes into this video. Sorry, the intro took a little longer than it probably should, but, where do I get started? So the one thing I do regret is so what I did was I went potatoes only as my only starch, mono starch. But that's not all I ate all day. I mostly ate fruit and, but I added greens, and I really wish I wouldn't have added greens and gone to mono starch at the same time, because it didn't really give me as good of an outlook as I would like. But what I have noticed is I've lost a significant amount of weight. I'm probably down to about 255. I have a scale. I forgot to use it. Literally, the only reason I own that scale is because I used to ship hundreds of packages a month out of eBay, and I needed something that did more than a kitchen scale, which stops off at 11 pounds. And that's literally the only reason I have that scale. So I forget I even have it unless I'm actually shipping something that requires that scale. So I forgot to take the weight. I don't really advise it. I advise going by clothes, because you're going to know how each shirt fits, or you're going to know how each pant, all the pants and shorts and whatever fit. And I have been having a hard time keeping my shorts on, not in a good way. And my shorts are fitting a lot looser as well. So I'm thinking I'm down there in the high 250s, low 260s again. And so I wanted to analyze this. I wanted to analyze the, just eat until you puke type mentality. I wanted to analyze this because I'm not a huge fan of studies. A lot of people come into my comment section and they're like, well, DURIANRIDER didn't, he didn't do a double blind study, and well, he's not legitimate. Okay. So if somebody gets like 70, 80% results that he says, like with people, wouldn't that be good enough for you? So like I got the mentality from back in the day, before internet, before computers took over, before all this kind of stuff, where if something worked for somebody, and it worked for a lot of somebodies, chances are it works pretty good. I didn't need to jab a rat with something, or a mouse with something, like, oh, I'm going to put you in a cage. I'm going to test you to make sure that this works for humans. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll do that. I don't have that mentality, right? I think it's kind of ridiculous that we're we don't know what we're supposed to eat. And so we just subject these rats and mice and whatever else to torture. Sorry. I'm not into that. So, and if you are, I don't know how vegan that really is, but it's just, you got all these vegans wanting rats to be stabbed and mice to be stabbed with different formulas and killed and everything like that for, instead of just go testing it themselves. And that's what I did this last 2 weeks. So what I did, like I said, is I only did, now there was about 5 days in this that I only did raw, 100%, didn't have any starch whatsoever. But the other days I did some variation of cooking potatoes. I think I put a short up yesterday. Today's actually Super Bowl Sunday. This will go out tomorrow. So today actually was the day that I put that short up of fries that I made. That's some of the stuff I was eating. And then I would have maybe some greens before that. And then I would have my potatoes. And the weight was coming off like crazy. Matter of fact, once I started adding in the greens, I actually think it was more important to add the greens than anything else. It acted like a Brillo pad, man. And it just went through. There was Sunday last week. So a week ago last week, it was a mass exodus. And then I was fine. I had my potato dinner and I went to bed. Monday, fine. Tuesday, fine. Wednesday, mass exodus again. I was like, damn, I was scared to go out. Like I go out and do DoorDash. I'm like, I don't know if I can even do that because I might not make it to the bathroom time. So, and then Thursday was fine. And then Friday it hit again. And then Saturday it hit again. So I didn't even bother going out really yesterday. And then today we're fine. Who knew? So, but I've had this happen before when I've added in greens. So I think it's the greens. And the way I'm going to test this is this week and the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be a month, like little study, I guess I'm going to do on the human. Imagine that. I'm going to do only rice as my only starch. I am going to soak it at night though, because if you soak grains of any kind, you're going to find some interesting stuff in the water floating at the top usually in the morning, no matter how processed this stuff really gets. So you're going to find some interesting stuff floating at the top that you probably don't want to eat, like bug parts or whatever. But I mean, it's no different. I've gone to the store. A squeaky voice. I've gone to the store and gotten, those 3-packs or the 6-packs of romaine lettuce, and I've seen bugs in those. So, I mean, if you're going to eat this way, if you're pretty much going to eat anyway, really, you're going to at some point have to deal with bug parts. And now they're forcing it on everybody in Europe. So, there's that. But so anyway, I do advise, this is one thing I forgot in 2016 that I was doing. I would soak the rice in water, dump that water out, put new water in, and cook it the next day. But I would soak it overnight. And that's what I'm going to start doing. So today being Sunday, and I'm going to start this on Monday, I am going to soak some rice tonight. And we'll start this next 2 weeks going forward. But the one consistency, after I made that live, a couple of people reached out to me. Sandy was one of them. She's like, when I don't have Bragg's aminos, I can't break down rice either. And a couple other people said, coconut aminos or a soy sauce or whatever it is. And then you get to thinking like if you go to a Thai place, it's really spicy, and that probably helps break down rice. If you go to an Indian place, which there's a decent amount of around here, I mean, the Indian places, you can actually smell the spice usually like 3 stores down or like something like that, like 3 doors down, right? Isn't there a band called 3 Doors Down? So a lot of that is probably going to break down the rice before it really gets to the small intestine, and it's not going to, turn into this glop in the small intestine, and it's actually going to digest. So that's the test I'm going to be doing this next 2 weeks. But I suggest trying this out. Everybody wants to follow this stuff blindly. And if it works for you, great. Like a lot of people have come on my live and were like, oh man, I'd love to live on pasta all day long. And I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, if pasta works for you, if you are losing weight, if your digestion's fine, if you everything, and you're eating pasta every day, go for it. Like, why do you got to find this stuff? Well, this study over here, it said I'm going to lose 2 hours of my life if I eat pasta every day. 2 hours. The study said this. You hear this kind of stuff. Okay. I mean, how does that work for everybody? And they probably tested a rat. Or something, whatever they test, a rabbit. I mean, how does that relate to us? So anyways, if you do well with pasta, if you do well with this, whatever it is, quinoa, people pretend to like that, or brown rice, people pretend to like that, or sweet potatoes, those 3, I don't get it. But like what you like, right? I mean, if these 3 things that aren't edible in my mind do good for you, then run with it. Have fun with it. Have fun with your food. But, I do say the more complicated, that's another thing. I didn't do any complicated food at all this week, at all. I think I mentioned, was it this video or the last video? I just shot the other one and realized the sound was way too high. I posted on Super Bowl Sunday, fries that I've been making. It was just fries and a little bit of sauce, and I would have a little salad right beforehand. I mean, it was simple stuff here. And I like to keep things simple like that. I do find the more complicated, especially when it's cooked, the more complicated I get. When it's raw and complicated, it doesn't really seem to be as bad, unless it's like a watermelon and avocado or something like that. I mean, that ain't going to go well. But if it's kind of in the same realm and you mix a little bit more in raw, it seems to go well. But if you really mix a lot of stuff in starch, it might not go well, especially if it's really close to fruit or whatever, raw that you had. I mean, it might light you up. So, and that's not good. Because once you stop up your digestion, it's going to be stopped up the next day when you had your smoothie or whatever, a juice or fruit or whatever. And they're all going to just turn into this glop. And that's what I was losing this last week, basically. That's it. I mean, that's basically my review of the protocol so far. So I have been not shying away from adding sugar. I have not been shying away from, now I haven't needed much water. I'll also say that I have not needed. So I'm going to notice if I need a lot more water with rice. And if that's the case, I'm really going to back off on rice a little bit. I got enough storage in that case for the rest of my life. I got hundreds of pounds here. But if that's the case, if I need a lot more water with rice, then I might have to, I'm going to back off some. I really am. I don't think I'm going to test pasta or anything like that. Pasta as it is, I add in maybe a couple times a month. I know I have a ton of it up there, but I got it at Costco. It was really cheap. It was like $9 for 1,000 pounds or something like that. I mean, it really was cheap. And so I just got it as, bunker life food. But yeah. So anyway, that was the experiment. It's gone very well so far. It's been very simple. In my smoothies, I keep less than 3 ingredients like usual. Juices, less than 3 ingredients. When I did my salad, there were probably 5-ish ingredients in them. Other than the dressing, I make my own dressing, but sometimes I'll add a salsa to that. And, however many ingredients are in that salsa, I try to get the most natural as possible. But there was that. So it has gone extremely well. So the bottom line here is I think if you are having trouble with digestion, maybe back off to one starch, but definitely before you do that, maybe add in greens. Add in greens and see how that goes. Was that this video? Ugh, I'm getting confused. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of kale. I'm not a huge fan of spinach and all that kind of stuff. Spinach, I really can only digest with fat. But just like romaine lettuce or something like that, just, get those 6 packs. I don't always get them organic. I try to, but, I was at Trader Joe's of all places. They're usually pretty cheap. And a 4-pack of organic romaine heads was like $6.99. I'm like, bro, not happening. So I got the conventional. I don't know what else to call it. I got the conventional. I've been getting a lot of conventional stuff lately just because the organic prices are going way through the roof. And a lot of farms can't afford to actually get that sticker because it's it used to be like $8,000 a year. It's probably like $20,000 a year now. And a lot of farms can't afford it because you got to renew it every year. So a lot of farms probably don't even grow conventional or pretty naturally. And you wouldn't even know it because they can't write it on there, because they can't write this stuff on there. Otherwise, it kind of signifies or insinuates or whatever that they grow organically. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I tried to do the best I can. But anyway, if you're having issues with digestion, I would back off the amount of stuff that you're eating in a day, not the volume, but the amount of variety that you're eating in a day. See which ones work for you, which ones don't work for you. I swear I've made this video last year at this, roughly this time, and I didn't listen to myself. But happens. But anyway, I backed it off, worked really good. I've repeated myself enough, I think. So I'm going to call this one, good. And I will kind of keep you updated on the rice. I don't want to bore people with it. But that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'll definitely be doing more salt. Like, like I read that Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese, I don't know about the other Asian cultures, but like eat like up to 10 grams or around 10 grams of salt a day. I mean, so of course they're going to be digesting their starch as well, because if you ever put salt on food, you can see it kind of starts digesting it already. So that's probably why they have no issues with elimination whatsoever. So keep that in mind as well. Anyway, if you're having issues with digestion, or if you're having issues with weight loss, I think there's a key to greens that Durian Rider doesn't talk about. So I think I'm going to adapt his protocols a little bit here and create my own. Anyways, said anyways like 30 times. That's it. Like, comment, questions, all that good stuff below. Subscribe. Share the video, and I'll talk to you next time.